From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Anne Waodo.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, Democratic Leadership Alliance unveils Moses Adebisi as 2027 presidential candidate after party chairman withdraws from race. Nigeria Police Force National Cybercrime Center arrests several suspects in separate investigations into alleged cyber-enabled crimes. Troops rescue 14 kidnapped victims, foil abduction attempt in Safe, local government area of Zamfara State. And flash floods along Nepal-Tibet border killed at least 150 of tourists reported missing. In our business news, Iran and Oman agree on revenue sharing and control of strategic straits of Hormuz.
On Sports News tonight, 2026-2027 MPFL season kicks off Friday in Ibadan as League unveils $7.5 million three-year title sponsorship deal.
Government unveils $1 billion Renewed Hope social protection program.
With politics, as the Democratic Leadership Alliance has announced Moses Adebisi as its presidential candidate for the 2027 presidential elections. The party made this decision following the withdrawal of its national chairman, Mr. Samuel Meme, from the race. Mr. Adebisi was issued a certificate of return at the media briefing in the nation's capital, Abuja.
And we believe that Nigeria can once again become a country where every citizen has hope in the future. It is in this spirit that the Democratic Leadership Alliance presents Dr. Moses Adebisi as our presidential candidate for the 2027 general elections. I believe in his ability. I believe in his energy. I believe in his commitment to Nigeria, and I believe that with the support of the Nigerian people and the collective strength of the Democratic Leadership Alliance, we can offer this country a new direction. To Nigerians at home and abroad, I say, do not give up on Nigeria. The challenges are enormous, but Nigeria can still be rebuilt. The future can still be secured, and better leadership is possible.
Meanwhile, the Accord Party is asking the Inspector General of Police to investigate the alleged statements made by the chairman of Kuje Area Council, Mr. Danjuma Sekwolo, threatening residents to either support the All Progressives Congress or leave the council. Addressing a media briefing, the FCT chairman of the party, Mr. Venaya Agbon, alleges that the chairman of Kuje Council was captured in a viral video threatening residents ahead of the 2027 general elections, an action the party considers unacceptable and deeply troubling.
In the video, the chairman is heard saying, I have said in my area council, it is either you are doing APC or leave the area council. It is either you are with us or you are against us. If the video and the statement attributed to him are authentic, the Accord Party considers them unacceptable and deeply troubling. Kuje Area Council is not the private property of any individual or political party. In view of of the seriousness of this matter, Accord Party calls on the Inspector General of Police and other relevant security agencies to thoroughly investigate the video, establish its authenticity, context and circumstance, invite the Executive Chairman of Kuje Area Council for questioning regarding the statements attributed to him, determine whether the statements constitute any breach of applicable laws, assess their potential security implications, particularly regarding intimidation, political suppression, and possible conflicts.
The atmosphere was electric at the Otuacha Township Stadium as the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, brought its campaign for Saturday's Anambra State local government elections to a close in Anambra East local government area. And addressing party faithful at that event, Governor Soludo appeals to them to vote for APGA for more grassroots development.
Thousands of party faithful, support groups and community stakeholders from the 15 electoral wards flood the Otuacha Township Stadium, marching in a carnival-like show of support and solidarity as they welcomed Governor Soludo to the agrarian community ahead of the August 29th poll. The APGA candidate for Anambra East and Mayor of the Council, Mr. Ifeanyi Chinwenze, highlights the Council's development strides and peace initiatives under the Soludo administration. Just as the Attorney General of the state, Mr. Tobechukwu, expresses confidence that APGA will once again emerge victorious in the election.
We are working because you encourage us to work. We are working because you provide resources for us to do that. Mr. Governor, Anambra East, we are happy.
We want to assure you that on Saturday, Anambra East will come out a map and repeat what happened in the election.
Candidates for the National Assembly and other stakeholders also rally behind the governor, applauding his impact across the state.
The performing governor, the blessing that God has given to Anambra State, the only governor that has developmental plan for his people, the only governor that understands his people, the only governor donates land, his goodwill and his network.
But let me thank you especially on behalf of the party, Mr. Governor, for providing leadership. And it is that leadership that has not transformed and translated to the kind of leadership we have across the 21 local government areas in Anambra State. It is because of you.
Mounting the podium to cheers, Governor Soludo declares that the local government election is critical to building a functional grassroots system capable of sustaining service delivery across all sectors, urging the electorate to keep faith with APGA at the grassroots.
Our local government system is working. Anambra State, we are mainstreaming a model local government administration. I thank the State Assembly, the Speaker is here, for that local government administration law, which is set out to ensure transparency and accountability, development and sustainability of the local government administration.
And as the rally draws to a colorful close, APGA supporters, buoyed by confidence and excitement, declare their readiness to deliver victory across all 15 electoral wards in Anambra East and by extension across all 21 local government areas of the state.
Away from politics, the Nigeria Police Force National Cybercrime Center has read the Riot Act to individuals and criminal networks engaged in cybercrime, saying that the center is more than prepared to fish them out if they refuse to stop their criminal act. Addressing a news conference in Abuja while highlighting the busting of the International Investment Fraud and Money Laundering Syndicate, The director of the center, Akaninyenye Izima, says the sophistication of tools used by encrypted platforms, cryptocurrency fraudsters, or false identities will not guarantee their safety.
Through subscriber checks, bank verification number, and other investigative processes, the individual behind the activities was identified as one David Adeyemi Temitope. On the 20th of July 2026, the same suspect was arrested in his residence at Mega Mount Estate, Lekki, Lagos. A search of the premises was conducted and digital devices were recovered for forensic examination. Over 12.5 million victim email logs, I repeat, 12.5 million victim email logs, with victims identified across more than 50 countries, including Canada, Germany, the United States, India, France, and the Netherlands were recovered from these devices. The suspect BVN was also linked to accounts maintained with 6 financial institutions and fintech platforms. A Mercedes-Benz AMG GLC 43, suspected to have been acquired with proceeds of the crime, was recovered. The investigation established that the suspect operated a business email compromise scheme through which he obtained phishing keys from a vendor on Telegram and used them to compromise Microsoft 365 login credentials belonging to employees of the targeted companies.
In Zamfara State, troops of Sector 2, Operation Fasanyama, have foiled an attempted abduction and rescued 14 kidnapped victims in Safe local government area of the state. The operation, carried out on August the 26th, followed intelligence on suspicious activities around Magazu village. The troops confronted the armed men who were allegedly attempting to abduct civilians and motorists, forcing them to flee into the bush. The soldiers later searched the area and rescued 14 victims. One of them, who sustained gunshot wounds, was taken to the General Hospital in Safi for treatment, but no soldier was injured in the process. Meanwhile, the military says the operation highlights its continued efforts to protect civilians across the state. In part 2, after the break, we will be taking a critical look at the Niger school abduction and other security issues as we are joined by former Defense Director and spokesman, Major General John Enenche. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Democratic Leadership Alliance unveils Moses Adebisi as the 2027 presidential candidate after the party chairman withdrew from the race. Nigeria Police Force National Cybercrime Center arrests several suspects in separate investigations into alleged cyber-enabled crimes. Troops rescue 14 kidnapped victims, foil abduction attempt in Safi local government area of Zamfara State. And flash floods along Nepal-Tibet border kill at least 150. Hundreds of tourists are reported missing. Yesterday, President Bola Tinubu asked security agencies to secure the release of 44 students who were abducted by bandits in Niger State last week, Friday. So joining me now to take a closer look at the Niger State mass abduction on the news at 10 tonight from our Abuja studio is the Pioneer Director, Defense Media Operations, and former Commandant, Army War College, Major General John Enenche. Welcome to the news at 10.
Thank you, Anne.
What's your view about the latest mass abduction again in some communities in Niger State? And one would even wonder how they were able to carry such large-scale abduction.
Well, my impression, I don't think it has changed. It is still the same as it has been playing out ever since for the past 15 to 20 years or thereabout. And I feel bad that in the face of seeming successes that the armed forces have recorded and other security agencies, we are still having this challenge staring us squarely in the face. What I can say is that we need to go beyond what we are doing now, taking into consideration that probably what we are doing is not achieving the expected results for Nigerians. I just have to be sincere about that. Otherwise, how do we talk about the rescue in Oyo State and other parts of the country that people don't even hear about, and it keeps repeating decimals? It's not a good thing for us at all, and I'm not happy about that. So my comment is that I think definitely we need to do something differently. And what we need to do differently is to go back to how to tackle this kind of security situation that we have in our hands now.
But Major General Nenenche,
these people are known.
Okay.
They are known, and they are known. You see, like if you go to the area they're talking about, they know them. They even know their locations. They will tell you they are in the forests. They come to the market, and we still leave them to occupy with us, to stay with us. How? So it's like they have colonized, intimidated the people, and they don't know what to do. And we need to come up with a new, what I call it, strategy now, way of going about it.
But what coordinated efforts would you say?
It has been done in some areas where I was consulted, and it has worked for them.
All right, so but what coordinated efforts or resources would you advise? Do you think for various agencies, what would they like to deploy to be able to rely on to carry out a rescue operation for the victims?
We talked about technology. I want to assume that they deploy technology, drones and all that. But we need to go beyond that. We need to go, these are things that I cannot disclose on the air now, because there was a place, not just last 3 weeks or thereabout, this kind of back-to-back kidnap was on, and they even went to the extent of killing people, but they were tackled. And we have, particularly for me, I think I have been canvassing and advocating that we need to go that we need the political will at the local government level, state levels, to collaborate. In short, what I'm talking about is putting the army, the police, not at the forefront now, but the way to back up the kind of force we will set up, the kind of action that will be carried out, and it will work. But you need strong political will, institutional support for such a thing to be done, which is not something I will disclose on the air, because if I disclose that, it means giving out your plan.
Okay.
So that is what we need to do. Not technology. Technology will not even go to wipe out the people for you. Those are enemies of this country.
All right, quickly, we just have a minute before we go. What can you highlight from the specific order by Nigeria's Commander-in-Chief President Bola Tinubu to the military, the police, and the DSS? And of course, he's also told other security agencies regarding that rescue operation.
Of course, it's the usual thing. There we go, and I hope that they will achieve. That is all I can say. As a commander-in-chief, he cannot do more than that. He's doing his best and he's doing what he's supposed to do. So, but I will add that if now they can look at the other options that we are putting on the table, the private security companies and all that, I think it will work. Not I think, definitely it will work.
All right. Thank you very much, Major General John Nenenche. He's the Pioneer Director, Defense Media Operations, and former Commandant of the Army War College. Thank you so much for your time on the News at 10.
Thank you, Anne.
Well, we continue in the nation's capital, Abuja, where Terry Ikume is standing by to bring us more stories on the News at 10. Over to you, Terry.
Well, thank you very much, Anne. Now, the federal government has unveiled a $1 billion social protection initiative aimed at moving vulnerable Nigerians from dependence on temporary palliatives to sustainable pathways of economic empowerment and self-reliance. The First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, who unveiled the Household Prosperity and Empowerment Social Protection Project at the State House Banquet Hall, Abuja, says while government reforms continue, the reality is that many Nigerian families still face challenges and require support. Our State House correspondent Larry Lasisi has this report.
As Nigeria's economic reforms continue to improve investor confidence and increase government revenue, the need to protect vulnerable Nigerians from the economic shocks become more imperative. This is the focus of this gathering.
Thank you,
The unveiling and launch of the $1 billion Social Protection Initiative, known as the Household Prosperity and Empowerment Social Protection Project. A project with 5 instruments working together to build one coordinated national system.
Your Excellency.
In attendance is the First Lady of Nigeria, ministers, international development partners, and heads of government agencies.
A humanitarian champion.
The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction outlines the key parts of the project.
We want to change the delivery mechanism of humanitarian interventions and poverty reduction. We want this to be done through a single window. Everyone that is delivering an intervention is creating a register. Everyone is creating a data center. And these are not talking to one another. So our reform under the One Humanitarian, One Poverty Response System intend to bring this all together so that these programs can interact one with another.
Some of the dignitaries present speak in support of the initiative.
The social protection policy, which has been reviewed, recognizes first and foremost that we are a federation. And social protection is multifaceted, multi-institutional, multi-tiers of government.
Launching of this program will go a long way in addressing the root causes of the insurgency in Nigeria. I want to call upon the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs to ensure that targeted beneficiaries are selected based on set vulnerability criteria that will ensure inclusivity.
The development partners present affirm their readiness to support Nigeria's effort to strengthen the social safety net.
Of Nigeria to formally do the unveiling of the one.
Delivering the keynote address, the First Lady makes clear her joy that the project aims to improve the lives of Nigerians, particularly vulnerable individuals, families, and communities across the country.
Our nation is implementing far-reaching reforms to strengthen the economy, lay a solid foundation for sustainable growth and shared prosperity. And these reforms continue to take effect. We must recognize that given the size of our population and available resources, many families still face challenges and require our collective support.
Yes, ma'am. She then leads other dignitaries for the formal unveiling.
Amen.
The project outlines a bold and innovative plan to move people from palliatives to pathways, a commitment to strengthen Nigeria's social protection framework for a large number of people. Lanre Lasese, Channels Television News.
The Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission is advocating the resumption of oil exploration activities at the Kolmani oil field located between Bauchi and Gombe states to boost revenue generation for the country. The chairman of the commission, Mr. Mohammed Bello, stated this during an oversight visit to the project site. Our correspondent Hajara Aliyu has more details.
A team from the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, led by its chairman, Mr. Mohammed Bello, is in Bauchi State to inspect some federal government projects with revenue-generating potentials. The visit is in line with the Commission's mandate to advise the government on strategies for improving revenue generation and promoting fiscal responsibility. One of the sites visited is the Kolmani oil field, where oil exploration activities have been suspended for some time. The State Commissioner for Natural Resources Development, who took the delegation around the site, laments the lack of attention to the project and calls for renewed efforts to revive exploration activities.
The exploration site, is somehow, we can say, dormant. We are using this very important opportunity to appeal to Mr. President to reconsider, or to consider the benefits attached to this project.
Following the inspection, the Commissioner says it would submit its findings to the federal government and make appropriate recommendations on the need to resume work at the site as part of efforts to increase revenue generation for the Federation.
With our visit here, we can go and write our report and take it to Mr. President and as a sort of advocacy and advice on this very particular important investment. Our whole aim is that Nigeria should rededicate its effort to make sure that assets like this are fully exploited and they turn into revenue, not only for the Federation, but so that people of Bauchi, Gombe, and the Northeastern Axis can benefit, and especially also the host community.
I believe that is going to happen. Our chairman here has spoken to him, and he's going to follow up. We're all going to follow up.
The team also proceeds to inspect the Bauchi State Oil and Gas Academy in Al-Aleri, where young people are expected to be trained to provide the skilled manpower needed to support oil and gas exploration activities. The delegation also visited the proposed mining institute. Hajara Aliyu, Channels Television News.
Still to come on the news at 10, Iran and Oman agree on revenue sharing and control of strategic Strait of Hormuz. That's on Business News, so stay with us.
Success.
Grandma misses you too.
Home is in the moments we share. With a blend of selected herbs and spices, Onga brings home even more taste and aroma to your favorite dishes. Shared moments deserve great tasting meals. Enjoy the taste of home with Onga chicken and beef flavor.
The Guinness Open for More promo. To win, simply buy a Guinness, open it, and register the code on guinnessng.com/1759. Terms and conditions apply. Drink responsibly.
SG baby, yaga yaga. She call me party starter. Gen Z president, Yastrata. They them back, but they know so we father. Flies DJ, no be lamba. Yastrata. The girlfriend, that my drip, I'm a swag. Yaga yaga. Party starter.
Well, you're still watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television. The Ministers of Power and Education have reiterated the commitment of the federal government to ensure Nigeria achieves President Bola Tinubu's $1 trillion economy this decade. This is the submission at the launch of the Renewable Asset Management Company by the Rural Electrification Agency, aimed at managing renewable energy assets in the country.
The Rural Electrification Agency, in partnership with Infracore and the Ministry of Finance Incorporated, have come together to launch Renewable Assets Management Company.
The people that are sitting here representing
its key drivers say the company is to manage Nigeria's renewable energy infrastructure.
RAMCO therefore forms an important part of the broader reforms across power, which is designed to strengthen the efficient and sustainable management of power assets, and ultimately to ensure that electricity is available where it is needed, when it is needed, and at a price that is both appropriate and sustainable.
To the Rural Electrification Agency Energizing Education Program, otherwise known as EEP, significant investments have been made in providing renewable, reliable, and sustainable electricity to our tertiary institutions.
The company is expected to become a bridge between public infrastructure and private investment, while helping Nigeria to move from a model focused primarily on infrastructure deployment to one centered on asset sustainability.
RAMCO's mandate is straightforward. Manage publicly financed renewable energy assets professionally, contract competent operation, meter, bill and collect, maintain sustainability of all this equipment.
And confronting assets that are either stranded or underperforming so they can be rehabilitated and returned to the productive use rather than simply being abandoned or replaced.
Where are the assets that we spent all this money on? And what are those assets doing in terms of delivering on the impact for which we invested in them for?
As part of its mandate, the company is expected to manage publicly financed renewable energy assets.
Scarce budgetary resources can be complemented by long-term capital. Maintenance and renewal can be planned beyond a single financial year, and the reach of public investment can be widened.
I think today's event was an historic milestone achievement in ensuring that we sustain and preserve our assets over the life cycle.
Littered across Nigeria are abandoned projects that cost the country billions of naira. And that's the focus of RAMCO, to ensure that renewable assets that are built are not only maintained, but also optimized. Daily Omoyeni, Channels Television News.
Well, that's a wrap from the nation's capital. The rest of the news continues from Lagos with Anne.
Thank you, Terry. The federal government has unveiled fresh reforms aimed at tackling the Almajiri and out-of-school children crisis across Nigeria. These reforms were announced in Kaduna at the National Education Sector Renewal Initiative, Advocacy and Stakeholder Engagement on Almajiri and out-of-school children.
This engagement with education stakeholders in Kaduna State is part of efforts to address the challenge of out-of-school children in the country. Already, the National Commission on Almajiri and Out-of-School Children's Education has developed a 10-year strategic plan covering 2025 to 2035. Meanwhile, the Kaduna State government is also taking steps to address the situation through the Regional Out-of-School project, which has seen the return of over 100,000 children to formal learning.
One of the most important achievements of the Commission has been the mapping of more than 700,000 out-of-school children. This exercise went beyond counting. It provides information about the children, their locations, their families, and the circumstances keeping them out of school. Such information is essential for effective planning, targeted interventions, and measurable results. Kaduna State has been able to identify 187,912 children that are not going to school. And I'm also happy to announce to this forum that just about 3 weeks ago, the Honorable Minister of Education announced that what Kaduna State has done as a mapping exercise is going to be done nationally.
Following the meeting, stakeholders visit some Shangaya schools within Kaduna metropolis to assess the level of learning. The advocacy visit, beginning with Kaduna State, is aimed at ensuring that no Nigerian child is left behind in acquiring basic education.
The Ministry of Education has brought out almost 5 policies that directly speaks to the problems of out-of-school children in Nigeria, particularly the Almajiri and Tanga system of education. And with these policies, I can assure you, no Nigerian child, if they are properly implemented, particularly by the states, will be left out of school.
The government has aligned with the federal government in the sense that the policies of the Federal Ministry of Education are being implemented.
However, stakeholders are calling for sustained implementation of the reforms, stressing that data collection must translate into concrete action and better educational opportunities for vulnerable children.
And Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has continued his push for the development of Rivers State through strategic infrastructure projects with the commissioning of a 14.5-kilometer Agbandele Road. The project connects communities in Emohua and Abua Odua local government areas, improving access to Port Harcourt and easing movement of people and goods. And for the governor, the road is another step towards opening up rural communities, boosting economic activities, and spreading development across Rivers State.
Respected stakeholders for the receiving party. On the receiving party, officials of Rivers State government and guests defy a heavy downpour to push the frontier of infrastructure development at Emoha town, situated between Emoha and Abua Odua local government areas. The focus of the event is the official commissioning of the 14.5-kilometer Agba-Ndele Road, featuring a 240-meter bridge. The new corridor provides a significantly shorter and easier route for several surrounding communities connecting to Port Harcourt, the state capital. For years, muddy stretches, overgrown vegetation, and deplorable road conditions made movement extremely difficult along this axis, particularly during the rainy season.
The dimensions of the 8-meter span bridge works are as follows: a length of 239.4 meter and a width of 10.3 meter, including 1.5 meter walkway on both sides and a connecting road of 1.2 kilometer linking the bridge.
This road and bridge are not, as usual, are not just asphalt and concrete. They are lifelines. They are economic arteries. They are proof that under your leadership, no community is too far or too rural to feel the impact of governance.
The governor, whose determination, backed by adequate funding and consistent project inspections, drive this initiative, explains the rationale behind conceiving and completing the road project.
When we saw the deplorable state of the Abua Road, and we were thinking, how do we help to save the man hours that are being spent on the road? And we met this bridge. This bridge was not initiated by me. It was initiated by not even my past predecessor. It was before him. That was when this bridge was constructed, or would I say initiated.
Beyond the infrastructure development, the governor also has a clear message for his political supporters.
Let me finally say thank you to our good people for your support. At times I feel at this point I don't even need people are not even supposed to associate with me again. But what I'm saying here, it shows the genuine love you have for me.
The commissioning of the Agba-Ndele Road and Bridge marks another milestone in Rivers State government's ongoing infrastructure drive. The new road is expected to immediately ease local transportation and open up vital economic opportunities for communities across the corridor.
Well, let's now join Will Ebong for more stories in the world of business.
Thank you, Anne. Now, Iran and Oman have agreed on how to share control and revenue from the Straits of Hormuz, according to Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. The deal follows weeks of talks on managing shipping through the strategic waterway, which normally handles about 1/5 of global oil and natural gas supplies. The IRGC says the two countries have agreed on their respective shares of the waters and revenue from the straits. However, the agreement does not mean an immediate reopening to international shipping. Iran says the waterway will remain closed unless the United States accepts its conditions and ends what Tehran calls interference in the negotiations. Now, in Nigeria, President Bola Tinubu has urged the management of the Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas (NLNG) to do all within its powers to ensure Nigeria derives maximum benefits from its gas reserves rather than allowing them to be flared. The president said this at the State House, where he received members of the NLNG board led by its managing director and chief executive officer, Engineer Adeleye Falade. He commended the team for maximizing and increasing the organization's capacity, adding that the company was ensuring a good return on investment.
We must be able to take out the flaring and convert potential environmental liability to what could be strategically and economically beneficial to the consumers in the Republic. Any other incentive that might be necessary to stimulate growth and expand your capacity, I will be willing to do that. We look straight far into the future and believe that this country has what it takes. But whatever assets that we have in the ground is nothing unless it's brought up to service the economy, the people, and realization of a good return on investment.
And now we head to the domestic equities market, which opened the trading week today after yesterday's public holiday, still in negative territory. Here's Nijama Kwa with the details.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Stock Market Reports. Well, the NGX resumes from the one-day holiday with a negative sentiment that continues even before we went on the holiday. Today, investors took out 231 billion naira from the market cap, and we're on 154.146 trillion naira. The all share is in the red, 0.17%. Intraday, we hit 238,000, and we've stayed there even to the close of trade today. Looking at the top trades, we see some recovery, but I guess it wasn't strong enough to drive the market sentiment to the other side. FCG Insure, that's negative, but after about 2 trading sessions of negative sentiment, First Coal recovered today and traded 87 million in volume, as well as Access Coal. And then now looking at the other parts of the market now, so we see that banking is negative. So First Coal and Access Coal are not strong enough to drive the market sentiment. Other fugas were in the negative, so that's why banking is down. Consumer goods is also down today, mostly because of international breweries and Honeywell flour. They experienced some profit taking. Oil and gas joins that, 0.11% in the red. So back from the holiday, but still with the bear.
And let's see the performance of other global equities now. And that's business news. I am Will Ibong. Is back to Anne for more on the news at 10.
Thank you, Will. On the foreign scene, more than 150 people have been killed in Nepal and hundreds of tourists are missing. That's after a massive flash flood and mudslide caused 100 of them to get missing, the US and 33 from UK, as well as 100 more tourists from Nepal, according to the tourist board. Let's join Saman Puse from our London studio with more international news in Around the World in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Hundreds of travellers are missing, including at least 291 foreign tourists after a flash flood on the Nepal-Tibet border. Videos showing people running for their lives and cars tossed around like toys have been released, as at least 100 people are known to have died, a number that is expected to rise fast. Verified videos from Nepal show a bridge being swept away and multi-story buildings collapsing by the force of the floodwaters. Other images show houses partially submerged after muddy floodwater swept through Nepal's Nuwakot district. Nepal's foreign minister says initial reports show it may have been caused by an earthquake triggering an avalanche which led to flash floods.
My brother-in-law had a liquor store here. I got a call from him this morning and they were crying and said their entire house had been swept away. 3 family members were rescued, but his brother is still missing. I saw around 9 trucks being swept away by the floods, including people. It's a heartbreaking incident. I've been teaching here for 18 years and I've never seen anything like this before.
At least 14 newborn babies have died in a fire on a hospital ward in Pakistan's capital Islamabad. The fire broke out on the 3rd floor of the Mother and Child Unit of the Pakistan Institute of Medical Sciences, one of the main state-run hospitals in the city. An air conditioning unit caught fire, a spokesman for the hospital said. The fire killed 14 of the 15 babies who were in the ward at the time. 7 other babies, 2 men and 10 mothers were also rescued from elsewhere in the hospital. A far-right member of the Israeli parliament has badly damaged a Palestinian memorial with a sledgehammer in the occupied West Bank while under military escort. The incident has drawn strong criticism from Palestinians and across the political spectrum in Israel. Video footage showed Zvi Sukkot, a member of the far-right Religious Zionism Party, and several others striking the stone memorial in the Palestinian village of Madama. Social media giant Meta has reached a settlement with US states and territories to resolve a court case related to child safety on Facebook and Instagram. The tech company will pay a maximum of $16.68 billion, according to court documents. The settlement requires Meta to introduce certain rules for teenage users, including daily limits and nighttime blocks. Meta denied wrongdoing in agreeing to settle. Guinea's President Mamadi Doumbouya has dismissed more than 170 soldiers for desertion, including a colonel who helped him seize power in a coup in 2021. Colonel Mikel Lamo was a member of the Special Forces Group, the elite army unit which Doumbouya once commanded. When he overthrew President Alpha Condé, Doumbouya said he would not seek election and would hand over to civilian rule. The dismissals, announced in a decree on state television, are thought to be part of ongoing efforts by the president to consolidate his control and prevent potential challenges to his leadership. And tributes from around the world are being paid to Dolly Parton, the country singer from the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. The country star died on Tuesday after a brief battle with cancer.
Pretty much Miss Dolly Parton. Come on.
The country music legend sold more than 100 million records worldwide and wrote over 3,000 songs. From His Majesty's Royal Band outside Buckingham Palace in London to the Empire State Building in New York. Tributes have been pouring in across the world. The singer was also a savvy businesswoman and was armed with a wit and charm that enabled her to ride through a career in show business that spanned over 60 years.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. Nigeria Premier Football League has announced a sponsorship deal worth $7.5 million with Euromatch ahead of the 2026-27 season. Under the agreement, Euromatch becomes the official title sponsor of the league for 3 years. The agreement, valued at 2.5 billion naira per season, was unveiled in Abuja earlier today with MPFL chairman Benga Elegbeleye saying clubs will get 60% of the sponsorship deal to boost players' wages and welfare. The new season will kick off this Friday with a clash between Shooting Stars and Inter Lagos at the Lekan Salami Stadium in Abuja. In Ibadan, sorry.
All right, media, please take it to the wall. Tell them we'll have a brand new logo, we'll have sponsors right now. Let everybody get to the field and let's watch our league play. Thank you.
Edo Queens stand-in coach Kennedy Boboye says the Nigerian champions are ready to go all out against ASEC Mimosa in their second Group B match on Thursday in the Wafu B Women's Champions League qualifiers, having defeated Guard National of Niger Republic 7-0 in their opening game. Boboye said the players are not carried away by result and want to secure the semi-final ticket by beating the Ivorian champions.
I won't give them that chance because we want to win to make sure we top the group and stay. But we are focused, we are ready, and the guests, I think they know the task ahead. Like if you go into the nets, there have been so much praises to the girls, to the team, and we had a discussion that we shouldn't allow anything like that to get into our head. The game, these tournaments, we will plan and just step tomorrow if we win tomorrow. So we don't want any of the results that we got in our last result to get into our head.
Nigeria's Falconet to play 2 warm-up games against host nation Poland and South Korea to fine-tune preparation for the 2026 FIFA Women's World Cup. The game against Poland will be played this Friday while Korea clash is scheduled for Tuesday, September 1st. There have been 2 changes to the squad with the draw of Captain Joy Bokwe and defender Faridat Abdul-Wahab, who were eventually not granted visas, replaced by Vivian Kachi and Alaba Olabi. Nigeria will begin their campaign against Spain on September 7th before facing China and New Caledonia in Group F. That sport is back to you, Anne.
Thank you, Chris. And the main news again. The Democratic Leadership Alliance has unveiled Moses Adebisi as the 2027 presidential candidate after the party chairman withdrew from the race. The Nigeria Police Force National Cybercrime Center has arrested several suspects in separate investigations into alleged cyber-enabled crime. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Wawado. Have a wonderful night rest.